What is up, everyone? I know it's weird. We're live. We don't really do this anymore. It's been a long time. Long time. Since, like, the Oscars, maybe?
I don't remember. Man,
Oh,
I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
I don't think any of us know. Oh, no. It wasn't even the Oscars. It's when I did my spoiler review of Percy Jackson with Rue. Holy hell. But no, we're back. I know we promised we'd try to do this more often, but shit happens. What can you do?
It's called living life. It happens.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. You got to do what you got to do, and that's what we're doing. So we're here.
Good intro.
We're just talking about everything that most of what happened at Marvel Hall H on Saturday, because some interesting things did happen. Jeremy Miller, this is a random notification, but a good one. What's up, guys? It's been a while. Yeah, it has been a while. It's been a long while since we've done anything on here, but I'm glad to be with Geoff. Geoff, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. I am relying on you to bring up whatever topics on things because I didn't pay attention to Comic-Con this weekend. I was out having friends.
Yeah, no, I only paid attention to this Comic-Con or this portion of Comic-Con weekend and tried my best to talk to the people I knew who were there to get one of those new James Gunn Superman shirts. But that's literally all of Comic-Con that I paid attention to. But
yeah,
I'm excited to talk about this stuff because I know you and I are both in
that makes one of us.
I'm not excited because of the material. I'm excited because of the conversing with you.
I don't have any. All right, let's get into this. Let's see. What do I feel? I'm so ambivalent to everything that I've learned. Everything I've learned about these announcements has been against my will every step of the way.
Real quick, before we actually do get into the breakdown side of things, if you haven't already, check out the review for Deadpool and Wolverine that is up on the channel. Go ahead and check that out. Real fun movie. That's all I can say because somebody hasn't seen it. So please do not mention it in the chat.
The internet spoiled everything. It's fine.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you were able to.
Actually, you know what? I'm sorry. Not just the internet. I meant opening night before most people saw it. Marvel spoiled it.
Well, San Diego Comic-Con spoiled it.
Because of who?
Taylor's.
Who had the panel? Who was the one running the panel? Who chose what to do at that panel?
I know. I agree. Does someone have Geoff at gunpoint to do this? Should I call for help? No, he's not at gunpoint. He's just at guilt point.
It's absolutely guilt point. We were supposed to do this last night, and I said, I cannot do this. I am so tired. And then I was asleep by 9:15 from what I've been told.
Yeah.
I slept for over 10 hours.
But let's
dig in. It was a long weekend. Had a lot of fun. Anyways, I'm ready to have less fun. So let's have this conversation.
Yeah, no, let's just get into this. So there was, real quick, they showed some stuff for Captain America: Brave New World. We're not really going to get into that. We're realistically going to focus on the latter two announcements, which are Fantastic Four and the other interesting stuff that went along with that. But just quick recap. We had Brave New World. We had Thunderbolt stuff shown. The most interesting thing that got pulled out of the Thunderbolt. The most interesting thing that came out of the Thunderbolts part to me was the fact that every member of the Thunderbolts were each hired by themselves to do one job, and then it's all like a setup, and then they ultimately have to team up. That's what the little synopsis they gave us was. So I thought that was interesting enough to warrant. So okay, you give me a reason to see it now, I guess. Granted, I'm in a position where I kind of have to see it anyways. So
no, you could just not go. I mean, I get so many critic screening invites, and then I just don't go.
It's not that you don't go; you're cursed.
There's a couple different reasons, but one of them is absolutely just as simple as I don't go.
Yeah, I know.
But yes, there are also like several times where it's like, well, this happened and now I'm not going, and now this happened and I'm not going.
It's happened more often than not. I just want to point that out. But
it absolutely, you're right in that regard.
But so that was the cool part about the Thunderbolts to me. Geoff looks very happy to be talking MCU. Yep, that's the point.
It's not even. I'm not even negative on anything. I'm just ambivalent. I'm not great to be here on this.
And it was cool that David Harbour was the only person who dressed up from the Thunderbolts cast to show that they're all getting new costumes.
I genuinely haven't seen any of these.
I know you haven't.
I didn't know this was a thing.
That's why I was trying to get through this stuff to the good juicy stuff. And yes, I do this for the love of the game, Taylor. Anyways, let's get into why we're here, and that's realistically the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. And
I was 11 drinks deep when I learned about Robert Downey Jr.
You were. But Comic-Con goers
called the Nut Hut Saloon.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways, no. Comic-Con goers got their first look at the Fantastic Four this weekend in what is essentially just test footage that they've put together and put effects to in some cases, and it was really interesting. The leaked version of that test footage sizzle reel trailer got online, and Disney promptly pulled that ish down. Anyways, that doesn't mean screenshots don't exist, which we happen to have. Which one of the most interesting weird things to come out of this is the fact that Reed Richards is apparently a Bill Nye the Science Guy type. Which
Reed Richards is a scientist, right?
Yeah, but he's going to be like a kids television show scientist.
Oh, that's cute.
Which I thought that was really interesting.
I need to preface. I did attempt to watch this. I was at a cafe. I was at a cafe Sunday morning without headphones, so I tried my best to see if I could hear it. I did not succeed, and I barely could see anything because I was on my phone like this, Geoff, and also I couldn't see straight.
Funny enough, 10 minutes later is when it got pulled. Nice. So you got to see that a little bit. We also got looks of the crew prepping for their mission to space, it looks like. And that look, they're all sitting around the table, going over paperwork, doing prep. Reed and Ben Grimm just looking in the camera. Everything.
One of them is looking in the camera. The other one is clearly looking down.
You didn't see again. That was just in the clip.
I need to see a YouTube channel break down the 30 Easter eggs and why he's looking down right now. Really important.
This is why I wanted you on here. And then we also got to see a little bit of Reed and Sue together, which
wait, they're together in this movie?
Yeah, they're saying it's not going to be an origin story, which I find really interesting because
I was joking. I didn't know anything about the movie other than I knew that I know who Reed Richards and Sue Storm are. I know that they're together in like everything. It was being sarcastic. I don't know if you are.
But the other two most interesting things we got from this were the fact that it's a retro future New York City, and they gave us a look at it.
Yeah. Oh. So okay. So good way for them to kind of. Obviously, multiverse things. Man,
yes, they are clearly in another multiverse.
I get as soon as I think about that out loud, like I just suddenly get tired. But I mean, that's cool. I'm glad that they're trying to make this universe kind of look a little different.
Yeah, no, I guess it's as different as you can make it look. Honestly, like.
No, there are definitely different ways to make this look even more different.
I know, but you get what I'm considering. What we already knew going into this.
Matt, in the PS5 game Spider-Man 2, they didn't have the rights to the Chrysler Building, so they couldn't have that in the skyline for New York. I'm telling you, there are ways that this could be different.
I know.
There could be no Chrysler Building.
I know. Jesus Christ. No, but my point is
that looks cool.
No, I really dig what they're doing. It's nice to see this little bit and give fans a feel for what's going on. Overall, I thought that was really cool. But another big thing that they ended up doing was giving fans their first look at Galactus, which is him peering in a window. So apparently Galactus is a peeping Tom.
That's crazy. I almost ordered that today on Criterion Blu-ray because of the 50% off sale. The movie Peeping Tom.
Yes, Geoff. That's what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, they're all kind of connected. The peeping Tom, yeah. I mean, but I don't understand what I'm looking at here because I thought that he was a cloud.
Yeah, he was a cloud at one point in that.
Now he has a face.
He has a face because Tim Story didn't have the budget or
Doug
the willpower,
Jones.
I guess.
Give me Doug Jones and Lawrence Fishburne. I gotta have a conversation with them.
But the coolest bit when it came to the Fantastic Four was they also gave us a look at the Fantastic Car and also brought it into Hall H.
Oh yeah, I saw that tweet. RB3 there.
Yeah, so they will have an actual Fantastic Car, and they're finishing up. We got its subtitle also, which is called First Steps. Kind of interesting to me, considering they've said, oh yeah, it's not going to be an origin story, but it's called First Steps, and it seems to be telling the story about how they got their powers and among other things. So I don't know what to really think about.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy with not that many plot details and only a few of the actors announced and only like a tiny little bit of footage shot so far. Are we able to judge this off of just that? It's almost like at the end of this, we're going to say, I'm interested in seeing how it ends up and I can't wait to talk about it more once we learn more.
I mean, I was more interested in the fact is they even said none of that footage is actual footage that's being used in the movie. It was all test. That is test footage. It has not officially started filming.
I know you said that earlier. I thought that you had just like misspoke and you meant to
no. They straight up
footage.
They straight up said this was just test footage that we repurposed.
Huh.
Because shooting begins tomorrow.
No, yeah, they must have done the test footage. So they used their test footage in a way where they probably I know they only just started shooting recently. That's why I was trying to be sarcastic about the other thing there. But so I guess they probably did test footage versions of stuff that they're going to be doing. So I mean, it's
nothing is officially shot though.
It feels weird in the big celebration of Fox properties weekend that Marvel had at Comic-Con and the world that they then were like, hey, here's an announced project and then we're going to show you test footage when Deadpool came to fruition because of test footage that leaked. And then they're like, now we have to do it. This is like the opposite.
That's why I thought you'd find this interesting, because the fact that they were able to give all of that with just test footage for the most part. There's other stuff that was shown in the sizzle reel, like a silhouette of the Thing in a dating.
Did any of them have a voice? Like
you got to hear Reed's voice. You got to hear Reed speak, and it was.
How does he speak?
Very much like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Nasally or like.
The way, because we got to hear him, it opened with him recording his show, so it was like how Bill would go into explaining, "Hey kids, this, that, that kind of voice," and it was like,
okay. So then we might have only heard a voice of his that's playing it up for the camera.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So, and we got to hear some of the score that they confirmed is being scored by Michael Giacchino, who might as well be the next John Williams right now. And we did get to see him pull they were looking at an apartment or something, it looked like, and he talked to Sue. I'm like, how about that, honey? Things like that. Like, it had like the 60s cadence that you get in films.
So it seems like they're really pulling, like, they're using the multiverse to be like, yeah, you know what? Let's do what Peyton Reed wanted, just without him.
I guess so.
Who knows? Look, Peyton, you had your chance, and then you went and made Ant-Man 3. So they probably, so maybe there was a little less goodwill. But at least we got.
Hey, I think he gets a pass on that because it was a Chapek movie and not an Iger movie.
There's a lot of passes that could have been given for Chapek moves, but instead, we're still reaping the benefits or lack thereof because of them.
Yes.
So. Yes, I mean, this movie was. Shackman's kind of a cool director. I mean, in terms of like the kind of stuff he's able to handle. I know that he was supposed to be making Star Trek 4 at one point.
And left it for this.
And when I say Star Trek 4, I mean not Star Trek 4, Star Trek whatever the fuck.
Star Trek 14, but it's 4 in the Kelvin timeline.
Were there 5 New Generation movies?
Yep. There's the overlap one, Star Trek Generations.
Mm-hmm.
First Contact, Insurrection.
And then
there's Nemesis, and there's one. I could have swore there's one.
That was it. This is 4.
Yeah, that Nemesis was the 10th one.
So this would be Star Trek 14. Then. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, you counted it out and made it sound like it was. Yeah, because it would be 14. Sorry, I was thinking for whatever reason like there have been 14 so far. Yeah, because there are 6 OG, 4 New Generation, and then 3, and then 4, and then this 4th Kelvin that may or may not exist at some point in time or space. Listen, in the multiverse, this movie has already been made, and it was directed by Quentin Tarantino.
You are absolutely right there. No, but is that Geoff? Yeah. Yes, that is Geoff Shug. But yeah, so
it is. And I'm still here against my will.
But no, it was cool to get that little bit. Now let's talk about what we really want to talk about, because I know Geoff.
We really want to talk about it.
Well, no, this next reason is why I wanted Geoff on, because I know how excited he is for this. The Russo brothers return for Avengers 4 and 5. Sorry, the Star Trek threw me off. Our Star Trek count threw me off. Oh, no, it is 5 and 6. I'm done. Yes, it is 5 and 6. Geoff, this is primarily why I brought you here, because just let it out.
I have cooled significantly since it was first announced, and I thought it was the dumbest fucking idea. I still don't like the idea. My opinion on it hasn't changed. It's just there hasn't been like I cooled down significantly on it as like an issue. Because I think because they did good work under specifically Disney. They're the yes men. Like they do the job and they do the job well under them. It's when they go out and they do their own stuff that it is the absolute fucking worst. Like shit. Like Cherry.
Oh, awful. We don't need to go into Cherry.
Gray Man, terrible. Yeah. The Gray Man was it like when you're like, yeah, I went from making the biggest movies of all time to my own Red Notice. It's just like they're just not good. They're really, really bad. But and also, of course, Joe Russo is like he sucks the big dong the big dong of AI right now. So it's just like he's all about it. And I hope that doesn't somehow bleed into this stuff. But look, I like Infinity War. I like Endgame. I watched Infinity War twice. I watched Endgame once. I don't rewatch massive length movies unless I'm doing like a rewatch for like specific things. I don't normally rewatch stuff on its own, just because. So I've seen Civil War like twice. I've seen Winter Soldier once. I know them. They're good movies. They're fine. I move on with my life. I wish the Russos would too. Now, I think that they'll do a fine job directing, but my other issue is like they couldn't have gotten anyone else. They tried. They had Des and Daniel Cretton, and King Dynasty was obviously falling apart for a myriad of reasons. So they lost him. He says, "Oh, I'm going to make Shang-Chi too." All right, please do it because people seem to have cooled significantly in Simu Liu. So can we just get the Shang-Chi already? Like before like he completely burns out. Can we get you to do other stuff? Like that's really cool because I think you bring a lot of interesting stuff to the table. We could have had like Sam Raimi was interested in doing that shit. Like, dude, he would have killed it. He would have made it so wild. Those are just people that have worked on it before. Who should have done it going into the end of introducing mutant shit and multiverse stuff and time traveling, all that stuff. You've got Benson and Moorhead in your stable from Moon Knight and then Loki season 2. Like the issues that were in those two shows, those two seasons of them working on it, it wasn't them. They brought all the great stuff to the table from the directorial standpoint, I think. They would have been amazing, but also like they're very much indie directors, and I think these TV shows were by far the biggest budgets they've ever had. Yeah, that's true, but also it's not just them. Everything's under Feige and whatnot, so it's we see what the screenwriters are, but this is all a big ass committee, man. It's a huge committee, and I just don't think that they will bring anything
fresh.
I don't want to say in a way that insults it because like the movies haven't been made yet. They could still be great, but I don't think that they necessarily bring anything new to the table that we haven't already seen from them in terms of epic scopes of stuff. We already saw them kind of play with, I know it was through time travel stuff, but that ends up kind of being multiversey in a way. Like we know that they're going to play around and stuff. Things are going to be different. We got Secret Wars and whatnot. Sure. I don't know. Those names do not inspire confidence that Marvel is interested in continuing to push the boundaries in different ways on stuff because it shows that they weren't able to get other people to bring something new to the table.
No, and yeah. Taylor said, "Yep, new creative vision and energy in Avengers would have been cool, but a risk, and they're afraid of risks now. They want some good bullies who will say yes, sir, and point the camera the right way." And honestly, as much as
really easy to normally this conversation in the next part.
I was about to say, as much as Geoff and I normally disagree, I actually really agree with a lot of what he said and a lot of what everyone's saying. It's one of those.
I'm smart.
Oh, shut the fuck up. No, it's just one of those things where, I tried to love Cherry because I love my Cleveland roots and I love seeing Cleveland on the screen. But boy, that was not a good movie. And I couldn't even finish Gray Man. That's how fucking dull it was.
I definitely know I finished it. Because it said so on my Netflix account and it's been watched all the way through.
But my point is, like, how is an action movie, or what's supposed to be an action movie, so dull that I'd have no interest in fucking finishing it? Like, it was that dull. And I was just amazed by that.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you talked about
Shug, that's not true. LeBron loved it, Cleveland. I did say loved. It is past tense.
Geoff loves Cleveland. He'll be here this weekend.
I will be here. I will be in Cleveland this weekend. I will not be seeing that.
I know. He's breaking my heart because he fucking said something too late. But anyway.
Also, I wouldn't have had time anyway.
I know. And that's why.
That's literally why I'm going, Jeremy. I'm going for SummerSlam.
But yeah, it's one of those things where I know not a lot of I'm one of the people who have liked a lot of the new stuff Marvel that has done because of how they've tried to push boundaries. I will give things a pass or a partial pass if you're trying to give me something different and give me something new, which is part of the reason I liked Captain America and Winter Soldier. I liked Loki. I liked Moon Knight more than I liked.
I never finished Moon Knight. I never had it. It wasn't that I had a massive issue with it. It's just different shows sometimes or whatever. I'm trying to watch something and then like I got distracted and then I meant to go back to it and I didn't.
No.
And
but that's what like Kevin Feige even came out in interviews during Deadpool, the lead up to Deadpool and Wolverine, saying my biggest regret is we did too much too soon on Disney Plus, and to a certain extent, he is correct. And
it's not to a certain extent. It's they did. They did do too much.
I say this because I put that more on Chapek than I do Feige.
Still, it ended up happening.
But my point is, he has to do his job. Chapek wanted more content. They rushed some things out to where even people don't trust Marvel effects to the same standards that they used to. Just
sure, gotta know who that is.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I don't know who that is. Or, how that worked out.
I'm totally tapped out of MCU shows. I haven't watched one since Hawkeye. I think Hawkeye was probably one of the better ones. Like that.
I really liked Hawkeye. I really enjoyed Hawkeye. I never finished Moon Knight. I never watched season 2 of What If. I've never watched Echo.
I didn't touch What If. I did watch Echo. I did watch Echo. I liked Echo a lot.
Yeah, I just never got around to watching it. I never watched X-Men 97, which I know is, I guess it's kind of because they're making everything connect. But yes. I never watched the original show. Like I watched bits and TV when I was younger, but that was it.
Show, so
I know that the score rocks. Like I know, of course, the original music like rocks. So Shug saying, "Keep your hands to yourself, Matt," as Matt is only touching himself.
Right.
Oh, I love She-Hulk. I think She-Hulk is one of the most entertaining.
I don't know how you say
somehow finished it. Oh man, your big fucking tears. Oh man, it's so difficult to watch something that's so fun. Man, it must have hurt you.
It Geoff, when he hears somebody doesn't like She-Hulk, but no, it's I really love She-Hulk. Was it silly beyond all measure? Yeah, but it was.
No, I thought there were clunky problems with it. Yeah. There were issues I didn't like, but it's just like people being like, "Oh, it's unwatchable. It's this, that. Oh, they were twerking." Yeah, those aren't real. There's so many problems people can always complain about. And
it's like when people say, "Why are there fires in Star Wars in space?" And it's like, you mean the same
people
fires
giving up on the end of? Yeah, that's stupid. I think that.
I mean, it's a procedural. The story is supposed to be all over the place. It's not supposed to tell one.
It's an episodic thing. Yeah. She-Hulk was. I really like She-Hulk, and I like that how She-Hulk, the series, and people were like, "Oh man, like they think that they're making fun of them, and that's so funny." It's like no, like the end of what they did was just sci-fi Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Like that was it. They did everything except say that this is Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
It was great.
And
they Deadpooled better than Deadpool in some ways.
Yeah, they did, but some people don't want to hear that.
Yeah. Oh man, did you know that women could be funny? Those guys. Like that.
I mean, Tatiana Maslany is a pretty
awesome.
fantastic actress.
She rocks.
I feel like doesn't get enough credit in a lot of the
stuff. She rocks.
So it's one of those things. Yeah, the humor's fine. The story's supposed to be all over the place. It's an episodic thing. Each episode was its own contained story for the most part. Was there small overarching things like her getting Abomination out of jail, but that only lasted about 2 episodes.
It's case of the week stuff. That's what a lot of TV was. I never watched Orphan Black. I know it's supposed to be good.
I never got an Orphan Black.
I know that she won her Emmy the same year that Rami Malek won his Emmy for the incredible first season of Mr. Robot. Yeah. But anyways, this is all really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
So we're talking about things that have nothing to do with the panel because the panel doesn't really have a lot of interesting things.
But back to the Russos. Yeah, no, it's one of those things where they're there, cool. They went safe. I personally was on when I first heard Sam Raimi was interested, I was on the Give Me Sam Raimi train because I know a lot of people did not like Multiverse of Madness. I did.
Those problems were all from a script point.
Yes.
And then, of course, visual effect things are, once again, that's more whatever. With Sam Raimi, everything that was great about Multiverse of Madness was really like him. Exactly. He's so good. And some people are like complaining about how weird editing scenes were and whatnot. It's like, no, like this was like the style for all these other things, and they work so well with this other stuff. You thought it was awesome here, and it's like, oh well, it doesn't work in this thing. Oh man, we always talk about wanting something to be different, and when something is, and you want to complain about it, and that's fine. Maybe different doesn't mean good, but it did here. It did there. I like Multiverse of Madness quite a bit. I like it more than the first Doctor Strange.
Yes, but let's talk about the big finish they pulled off, because there's been a lot of mixed reaction, I guess is the best way to put it, and that was revealing that Robert Downey Jr. is returning to the MCU as Dr. Doom.
Yeah, they had some. This goes back to the comment of Disney is now afraid of risk, and I will say this is incredibly risky. And I don't necessarily mean that in a positive way. I don't also necessarily mean in a negative way. I do lean more negative on it, but it has nothing to do with it. I bet he would be great. I also know, from my limited, expertise on all this, is that Dr. Doom is a Romani character, and I know that there's this whole there's a Tony Stark variant one. Great. You know what all these variants and this multiverse bullshit is that we're all so into, and how it's able to like weaponize nostalgia to make us interested about things that we liked 20 years ago, or that was like a reference to something that didn't actually get made or whatever. Why do we care about that stuff? Because of all the years of setup and the things that went into place to make us care about that stuff. You're going to put in we've never had an actual good Doctor Doom on the big screen before. Okay, we've never had any of that information come in that makes us actually want to follow it. So now the way that we're going to be introduced to it is going to be an alternate version of someone that we already recognize from the same exact franchise. When I say alternate, they said, oh, it's Victor, it's not him. So, okay, if he's not a variant, then it confuses people even more. All right?
Yeah.
Like, it's he could be great with it, but the idea of needing to rely on someone else's face rather than utilizing this to once again have someone new come in to be able to like put their own spin on stuff and do inject it with something. It feels like they're scared still.
Well, before I give my thoughts on it, I'm gonna bring our own Marvel Jesus on real quick.
I said I wanted this to be short, and now you got to bring a third person in on this.
And I'm gonna bring on Mr. Suge Knight 3.
I said short because he can't even. Oh, never mind. You put the graphic off.
Yeah, so short that I could even like look up. I had to do this. You know what's going on, Geoff? How you doing, sir? Miss your beautiful face. Miss your beautiful face, Matt. I do not miss your beautiful face, but it's always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun when you stop ducking me in college 25.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, let's make this quick because Geoff, you know, he's a busy man. He's got things to do. He's got SummerSlam to watch. You know, I'm so happy you got into wrestling. Really, really love it, Geoff.
It's a hyperfixation for me.
Yeah, I can tell you've been going to. I think the last time I ever went to wrestling, I was like 13. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. I agree with you, Geoff. I don't know why. I mean, I do know why. Let's be honest. The things that have happened with Marvel, starting with Chadwick Boseman's passing away, to Jonathan Major stuff, pandemic, they had a pivot. And those, I think those are the main problem or brain things that happen, that they had to pivot, and you just had to be safe. You had to bring someone. They haven't had a good track record lately with the shows, and I think the shows are fine. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and they were saying, oh, Marvel should have took a break after Endgame. Well, they tried. It was called the TV shows. They weren't going to do big budget stuff. They were going to do the TV shows.
The TV shows were also massive budgets too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the way because they put money into it. But
another one, I never even watched it because I forgot all about it. Secret Invasion, $250 million.
That one is the one thing I will say was absolute shit.
Yeah. But they tried to stay away from movies. They were like, hey, we're going to introduce shows, and that's going to be our thing, and we're going to bring it all together, and just people just didn't enjoy it. And say what you want about Doctor Strange movie, it fits what we're doing. Ant-Man and Wasp, it fits. Even to an extent, some of the internal stuff, kind of, how they're in the past and things like that. But they just tried to do this whole, hey, we're going to use these TV shows, and people didn't gravitate to them. And the only thing they gravitated to was Spider-Man and now Deadpool Wolverine. Everything else has been, even with Doctor Strange, they kind of went to it, but they had an issue with it because of
gravitating towards the things that we already recognize.
Yeah. Well,
in a cynical way,
the things are not the things that we recognize, but things that they were doing, like having the cameos, having those, oh my God, look who showed up in this movie. If you've noticed, what movies have been doing well with that? Doctor Strange, Spider-Man. Yeah, so and I like the way
to say it, not trying to necessarily insult it.
Yeah, and I think with Deadpool, they did something, and no spoilers, but they did something that someone my age grew up on, and they used that for nostalgia to be like, hey, this is what we're going to use to tell a story, and that's why it's doing well with older people. If you notice, a lot of older people are like, oh my God, it's a great movie.
My cousin popped like no other. She said that me taking her that movie was one of the best things.
I can probably guess. I haven't seen it.
You've been spoiled by the internet, you said.
Dude, I was spoiled the first day. I'm so pissed.
This is something. Well, this is something that when I say spoiled to it, I mean it's really not a spoil, and I don't know if this is what you're saying, But this is something where it's like, well, I mean, it'll happen because, you know, he's wearing the suit and everything. People going crazy that he puts a mask on. And it's
not
like,
what we're talking about.
Cool, awesome, even better. But still,
but he is right. But he is right.
Yeah, he is right.
Everyone, this whole like, and then people mocking. It's like all these grown men growing crazy because this guy put a mask on because he didn't wear it in other movies and whatnot. And I am of two minds when I try to like, so that I'm not like feeling such like an asshole about that sort of thing. And that is, on the one hand, it's like, yeah, like he put a mask on. Great. Everyone's all excited about that, but on the other hand, it's like, all right, cool. What does it speak to the character and his impact on people over the years that him putting a mask on makes people get that excited? Yeah. So it's like there's ways to be cynical about it, but also it's like I kind of get it because of the way that people have connected for so long and they want this sort of stuff. But it's also like, why is that what's being connected to when there's not a whole lot there other than to say I'm seeing the thing that I recognize? And I
recognize something fans have been clamoring for the last
year. Right, clamoring for it so that they saw it. Now they saw it.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Well, cool. Once you see the movie, though, I think it's going to make a little bit more sense to you.
Yeah, because there is a little bit of plot to why he
I'm sure. But
but I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, though, Geoff.
That's why I know. That's why I'm saying, like, so then I got to think, well, then why is it that people are now are excited that they get to see this? Whatever. So, yeah.
And kind of talking about that, though, Geoff, I think what the problem is Marvel tried to do new stuff and it didn't work. So now, like you just said right now, well, we've seen this person in this universe. Why are we getting excited about it? Well, because they don't want to try new things. That's why you bring back an RDJ, is because it's a safe thing. Now, how are you going to spin it? Is he Victor Von Doom? Is he a variant? Is he
both?
Is he both? Or what?
Either way,
exactly?
I don't like it because I want them to choose, like, they are relying on what people saw before. Yeah. And like, but I also know, because I've seen people have anecdotal evidence on stuff where it's just like they went to an airport or whatever and there were people that were talking about it and they were like amazed by it, like they were so excited. But like, I don't know, man. The idea that we need to use the face that everyone saw, and maybe you're selling it for this thing and that could be interesting, but still you're selling something that hasn't even had a chance to succeed on its own before deciding now I'm going to sell it on the basis that you recognize their work doing something else complete. And yeah, the Kang thing was a total fucking flop. Like Quantumania, big ass failure with trying to do the Kang stuff there. It just kind of like didn't really work out. And then the 1-2 punch of that, and a lot of people not really liking some of the different Majors choices that he was making, especially in season 2 with that. So they did have to pivot, and they already invested so much money in a lot of that stuff. And so it's just, I don't know, man.
And now you gotta do
this Marines at Romani. I wouldn't want to see him be.
That's my issue.
And the whole thing is now you got to do this whole thing where, okay, because originally I think you could have still done King, but I don't think you make him the big bad because he's and people were arguing with me about this. He's not the big bad on the level of what we've had. No, he's a big bad of. Maybe like the Loki, yeah, like that. But he's not the big bad. And they
has the potential to be the big bad, but he's never.
But I don't think he. I don't think.
Problem is that Kang was a weirdo guy where there's just an infinite number of him, and it's basically like the way to make him work the best is almost like making him like an Agent Smith, where it just there's more and more and more of him constantly coming up and trying to take over.
Also, too, if you weren't going to do the right storyline of him being a descendant of Fantastic Four, I mean, you could have done it any which way. You could still have Jonathan Majors play him as African American. That's fine. But if you weren't going to do that storyline, it didn't make it just.
That's
what we know him.
They
might have done it, and then after the Majors thing, I mean, all the casting and stuff all happened after Majors was gone. They could have pivoted and changed some of that.
And there are reports that they have casted a new Kang, and that they're waiting.
But they're going to kill him off quick. God, did you guys see Pedro Pascal? That man lost weight. He looks like Reed Richards' body type now. I was like, I saw him at Comic-Con. What the heck?
Here's the other thing. I'll say this, and then it's pretty much all I have left to say on that. Is like one thing almost always that Marvel has been very good with has been casting.
Mm-hmm.
They're really good with all the rules. Like all the newer people that will they're going to be introducing and using in other stuff later that they've had in things, your Haley Steinfelds and Florence Pugh's, and
no one's complaining about them.
No one, like people complain about Tatiana Maslany simply because of the weird sexist shit about like the She-Hulk, or like, oh, the humor didn't hit, but like she was great for the role that she was cast in and the performance that she had to give for it. So, pulling out and trying to like just criticize her for that. Like everyone's great. Even when it wasn't really Marvel that did the original casting, when it was Charlie Cox for Daredevil, like there's some great casting stuff that they've always been able to build off of. And I don't know if you've noticed, some of the worst casting, they've chosen not to want to revisit that somehow. I don't see anyone chopping in the bit for more Finn Jones as Iron Fist.
No, they're chopping at the bit to have the what's her name? She was in the Matrix. She was also in the Iron Fist shows. What's her name? Jessica Henwick.
That's her.
Yeah, they've been chomping at the bit to have her take over that role instead, because she was why people watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
So here, I will say my piece real quick. Yes, Doom is first and foremost an F4 villain, and F4 have no connection to Stark in the MCU. There's nothing there. That's the thing where the multiverse you have to take the multiverse into consideration, because and I know it sucks. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but they have built-in avenues.
I sighed so loud. I'm sorry.
I know, bro. My point is, I agree with you. I don't like it, but the reason they can do shit like this is because they have that. Yes, Taylor. Boo the multiverse. Boo. But
well, I mean, technically that's not true, because we did get the stupid line in Doctor Strange where he says to Reed Richards, "Didn't you guys chart in the 60s?"
Yep.
Tony Stark's not around then, so Tony Stark might not know about them, but you know who was around in the 60s? His dad.
Yeah, but they've already confirmed that this set is in another universe. So I'm like, it makes sense.
When did it say that?
At Comic-Con, they said it's a retro future 60s, and they're in their own separate universe.
Yeah, no, they've been very open that this was a different universe version since like
I know it was the 60s, but see then that doesn't. But then the Doctor Strange thing doesn't make sense.
Exactly, because it was a
different. That's its own different universe too.
They just said that as a
no. Doctor Strange is in our universe.
I know.
He says that. Well, he says that. So, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. We got to let it play out. I was talking to somebody about this today. We got to let it play out and see what happens. You know, people jump the gun so quick on just everything. Like I was talking to somebody and I said, go back to Phase 1. Everybody hate. Like I love Captain America, the first adventure.
People hate that movie was casted.
People hate, but people don't like that movie. They're like, it's not good, and I'm like, what do you mean? It's like an origin story for Captain America.
You're the first person I've heard tell me anything that
a lot of people go look up people's reviews on it. People do not like that movie. Thor, the original
has
Thor,
positive reviews, and it has since been consistently ranked in the upper tiers of the whole MCU.
Yeah.
Oh well, then things have changed in the last couple of years.
It had a solid response when it came out. Like people feeling like solid B average, they were feeling towards it, and people that love the MCU overall, you know, anecdotally, once again, and seeing different MCU lists, I've seen a lot of that stuff. It seems like over time, its appreciation has grown.
Yes, I love the first Avenger, but like go back and look at Thor. Nobody really cared for that movie. The Incredible Hulk. People
Jeremy,
are like,
I will say this right now. He's cashing that Oscar, and if Feige presented him with a good story, it should work. I would hope. Here's what I'll say. he's cashing in on that Oscar because he cashed in on Marvel and got every fucking dime from them that he could.
Yep.
Then he got an Oscar. Now he's coming back. Doesn't matter if it's a good story. What Robert Downey Jr. has proven in his run is that he knows how to make as much money doing anything fucking possible with them. Story is second to the almighty dollar with him.
And I will say this: when it comes,
Oscar brings prestige, and that's what a Russo brothers production needs.
I will say, I'm going in with bated breath. I guess is the best way to put it. It's got enough to interest me. I'm not in love with it. I know some people expected me to be in love with it. That is not the case. I'm very much where I am with the Russos. It's like it was a break glass in case of emergency situation. I'm not gonna sit here and say that Downey can't do Doom because we've seen like his character in Oppenheimer, straight fucking villain. Let's be honest. And even if he can channel a fourth of that into a Doom performance, I'll be interested in that.
Yeah, so resolving Kang's storyline is bullshit because it's already been resolved. In a way, because Quantumania established all Kangs are Jonathan Majors.
Yes,
they already established that shit. They
also established in Loki that they are monitoring.
They've already pruned him out. They've already essentially said like they're just about done pruning him out. Like they were basically done. So,
and the Avengers, they say it in Loki, Avengers handled that one situation in their universe. So I think there's gonna be a thing, but we're not gonna see King on unless they, like Matt said, they recasted him. We're not gonna. I think
they recast him to have him play like a lackey to Doom, if anything. But like the names that were being thrown around for Kang a few months ago, like if I see Coleman Domingo on screen for Kang, I'm gonna flip my lid. I'm gonna be so happy.
Coleman Domingo is already Unicron. We don't need him to be another like all-consuming.
As much as I can preach love for that movie because it's from a Cleveland director, I do not recognize that fucking franchise.
I like Rise of the Beast. Fine.
I like the movie. I just don't like the franchise.
I think they should have started off with Doom. Kang was just not.
Doom kills 1 million garish AI Kangs. That's why they brought on Joe Russo to use his AI production. John David Washington is my ideal choice. My favorite thing about John David Washington is that if they were to recast Jonathan Majors to John David Washington, it would be awesome because everyone would love to see Kang just get kicked out because of like the lack of charisma that suddenly is emanating off of Kang.
Well, now that they do,
I say this is someone who is fully Tenet pilled, by the way.
Now that they did this whole Doom thing, it fits the comics. So it
fits one sect of the comics.
Well, no, but going into Secret Wars, it was Doctor Doom, not Kang. Yeah, because originally, I just think Marvel was trying to be different and say, okay, instead of Doctor Doom, we're going to use Kang to set off Secret Wars.
They were trying to use the original Secret Wars instead of the new Secret Wars. And now they're using the new Secret Wars.
It is what
this
it
all
is.
Sounds super interesting.
I have the
not at all complicated, and I'm sure it'll be really easy for casuals to get into.
Yeah. But that's it for us, folks. Shug, thank you for joining us in the last minute to give your thoughts on the whole situation.
I just wanted to come talk to Geoff, really. That's all.
You can catch Shug on his channel. Shug, go ahead and plug that.
I gotta remember how to plug things. You can find me at
Shug out of the way. It's right behind you.
Yeah, Shug9323 on TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Where I do a show on Tuesdays, apparently not this Tuesday. Still Conspiracy talking Steelers, Panthers, and Ravens. You can also find me on ShugKnight1323 on Twitch, where I'm usually playing Magic, NCAA, or not it's not EA Sports, EA College Football, or some other games. I do not duck Matt. Yeah, it's not NCAA like everyone keeps saying it is.
Don't worry, you'll see Shug and I play soon because we got a dynasty.
Shug, I own one 2K game. It's
not a 2K
WWE
game.
2K23.
Okay.
That's it.
I know because I don't play cheaters. So
you set up the game. How did I cheat?
I'm good. I don't play Cheaters.
You'll see him. You'll see him in this Dynasty League when we get
and
back going.
and then on this Sunday, you can find me at 4:15 PST talking to Deadpool and Wolverine. Spoiler review. So if you've seen Deadpool and Wolverine, come hang out, and we're going to talk spoilers. We're going to talk more about RDJ. We're going to talk about what's the future for Marvel MCU, and yeah. So come hang out.
Geoff,
what's up?
Plug yourself.
My name is Geoff. I like apples. And you could follow me on Twitter. It's Geoff1106, Geoff with the G. I tweet about things and stuff. I don't tweet as much if I'm out drinking. So this past weekend, I wasn't online as much, which is why I missed all this.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. I haven't gotten 2K24. I kept meaning to. I haven't. I played 2K23. It was fun.
He doesn't play as the Buckeyes. He plays as Akron.
No, I play as the Buckeyes. Akron's just the Dynasty mode.
This guy's a loser. Anyway, keep going. Sorry, Geoff. It's rude.
You should end the stream.
Yeah, and then you can also follow Geoff on all the reviews we do here.
Oh yeah, I also do reviews. I might have another review happening soon. I don't know. I got a movie I'm going to see tomorrow.
Unless he gets cursed again.
Exactly. So it's like I'm not going to guarantee anything. Nothing is guaranteed in life except death.
What movie are you going to go see?
I got a 35 millimeter screening of Cuckoo.
Oh, okay.
That new horror film starring Hunter Schafer and Dan Stevens and Jessica Henwick of Iron Fist fame.
Yes. And then you guys know where to find me. I'm here all the time. I've been on the Twitch lately, which reminds me, if you haven't already, you've seen them in the chat, you can go in the chat and look at it. But go follow Watt Gaming. That is our sister channel. Taylor is doing a fantastic job over there curating our Twitch streams and making some shorts out of them. I love everything he's doing over there. He leads that channel. It's been a lot of fun. And also go follow our Twitch, which is just twitch.tv/WattRealEnt, like it's spelled up in the corner right here. And yeah, so thank you guys for tuning in. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you guys for checking it out. And until then, we'll see you next time. Peace out. Wait.
I just do a fucking.
Go fuck yourself.